Okay, so we looked at distributive property already once before, and we're going to look at it again. And so we want to find out which of these three will give us the same answer that we have here. And so we have to take whatever's on the outside of the parentheses and multiply it through. So here we're going to take the 1/10 and multiply it through. And we're just going to turn these into fractions since the outside number is a fraction. It makes it easier when you multiply a fraction to a fraction. And so now you multiply straight across. 1 times -3 is -3m. And then 10 times 1 is 10. And then you have a plus sign. 2 times 1 is 2. 10 times 1 is 10. And this is not 30. And this is not 20. And so A is not a choice. Now we have to do the other two the same way. So we're going to take -2 and multiply it to 15 and multiply it to -10. And so -2 times 15 gives you a -30m. Negative times a negative actually gives you a positive 20. This is the same as that. And so this one is a good answer. And then finally the last one. We got two here. -20 times 1.5 and -20 times 1. -20 times 1.5 is a -30m. That's good, but -20 times positive 1 gives you a -20. So, because this is not a positive, C is not a good answer. And then, finally, this time the number's on the back side, but we do the same thing. -5 times -4, -5 times positive 6. So, -5 times positive 6 gives you a -30m. And then a negative times a negative gives you a positive 20. So, this one is good, D is a good answer, and B is a good answer. Alright, next up. This one is pretty straightforward. You have a -3, and we simply have to multiply it to the 7 and to the -5. So, -3 times 7s. Then we have a minus sign. So we're going to bring this straight down, minus. And then we have -3 times 5r. And so a negative times a positive is a -21s. Minus, and then -3 times 5 is a -15r. And then minus a negative, we turn that into plus a positive. And so our final answer is a -21s plus 15r. And that is our final answer for that one. Next, we want to be able to choose three answers from the list below. That gives us 12c plus 24d. And so to do that, you just simply have to multiply each one of these out to see which ones will equal 12c plus 24d. So you have a -6 times -2 and a -6 times -4. So that gives you a positive c because a negative times a negative. And then a negative times a negative gives you a positive 24d. So that one was a good answer. Next up, we take the 3 and multiply it to both of these. So that gives you 3 times a -12, or 3 times -4 gives you a -12c. 3 times -8 gives you a -24d. Since this is a negative and this is a negative, this is not our answer. Alright, next up. This time we're going to multiply this times both of these, which means we want to put it over a fraction. And so that gives us 24 times 1 is 24, and then 2 times 1 is 2. And then plus 48 times 1 is 48, 2 times 1 is 2. Then you just reduce these. 24 divided by 12 is 24 divided by 2 is 12c. 48 divided by 2 is 24d. And you put a plus sign because that's what we have right there. So 12c plus 24d. That is a good answer. Next up, we have a -1 times a -12, a -1 times a -24. That gives us 12 plus 24d. But this one is not an answer because there is no c value right there. So D is not an answer. Then finally the last one. 4 times 3c, 4 times 60, that gives you 12c plus 60. 12c plus 12c plus 24d. So that is correct. And finally, similar to one we had where you're just basically multiplying straight through, except this time the number's on the back side. So we have to multiply still all of these by a -2. Now the other thing is, when you have a variable and no number in front, you can simply put a 1 there. So now we have -2 times 1, so that gives you a -2r. -2 times -5 is this is -2 times -5 gives you a positive 10s, and then a negative times a negative gives you a positive 8t. And so this would be our final answer. If you have any more questions on distributive property, either watch the other videos or come see me on Friday during office hours, and we'll go from there. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.